you're down and close. So we talked about the invisible jiu-jitsu and making yourself bigger inside of their guard and putting pressure on their feet, okay? The thing with guard is, in all reality, the weakest part of the guard, the exit, is out that way where the feet connect. So the key is how to get them to uncross the feet, okay? If my posture is up, okay, and he starts pulling me in, I need to be able to put pressure on the feet by lifting a bit and bowing my back, not arching. If I arch, I have literally no power because it's all lower back. Bow your back with shoulders forward and you keep your head up. Go ahead. And I lift my, see how he's lifting? Because that's the weakest part. The weakest part is either me going to be posture broken or his head's going to come up and he's going to do a crunch. So, go ahead. So that's how you know it's working. Whenever the shoulders come off the mat, that's when the leg becomes very easy when the feet become, let's call it what it is, easier to uncross, okay? The key here, I have to tell you, is really the knees being underneath, like a ramp, underneath his hip bones. Even though that typically what's taught is keep the hips down and you insert this wedge right here as I teach you guys. In this concept, yes, because again, you're crossing the feet by creating pressure on his feet cross. But when his butt's off the mat, what happens is that as he begins to pull me in and he comes off, the shoulders come off, this right here becomes fairly easy because there's this gap. His hips are off the mat and it's tough to keep your feet closed when you can't lock the hips to the mat and use the pressure of the mat and the shoulders in order to be able to get that pressure here. Because when he's here and his hips are on the mat, see how hard that is? Because I feel like I'm pushing his leg into his hip and it's going into the ground. So as I go here, kind of get the knees inside here, even when I do this right here, it makes it a lot easier. So to open the guard with posture, it's almost like I want to lift his left shoulder and push his right leg down. So here, let's say he starts pulling in slowly. Because what's happening is that his hands are going to start coming into play, right there. And the second he reaches, you're able to open and uncross with your posture up. Oh, but that's not what I wanted to get here. I'm just giving you options. So let's go this way. With posture up. Sometimes they break your posture. I'm gonna get a right underhook, okay? Whether you get the gi here or you're here, whenever you kind of get the underhook, they typically get the overhook, okay? Yeah. What I wanna do is this. I wanna push him up, okay? And I wanna start walking to the side. The second that I feel my right knee and him kind of tilting, I'm gonna bring my left elbow over his head, and I'm gonna lock his shoulder and I'm gonna flatten him out. Now, if you notice, my right knee needs to go here and push him forward. And I feel his legs uncrossed. Because my hip is rolling on his, now I feel calf, okay? There's really no power in his leg, especially if I jam his hip right here. And I'm jamming his hip, so what, try to move me around? It's tough. And I'm also putting pressure on his neck so that he can't align his spine to get power. From here at the calf, I'm gonna push it down, windshield wiper, knee, and keep the hand up. Okay. This takes some getting used to because you have to keep hip pressure. And it's basically side control, controlling the shoulder, and I'm pulling in here, except his legs inside. That's all. I want to get to this position. But I have to kill the power in his leg, or else he will lift me and sweep me. But I can always put that hand out, okay? So now watch. I think they call this the Hodger bracing pass. So, guard, posture brace. breaks, or maybe I went here. I like to have my hand out because I feel that when I go here, I roll over my own fist because I go here, okay? And here as I'm walking here. Right about here is my right ear is kind of by his right temple. I'm going to up here, and I'm going to start pulling his elbows in. Now watch this knee here. See how it's out, kind of behind him? I'm going to roll left, bring this knee in, and I'm going to push him forward as I drop. Now my left knee is pushing into my left elbow. And I'm constantly driving here, and I'm controlling, and I'm flattening. I can feel his legs are open, so I can begin to switch here, C-clamp that Achilles or shin of his, and gently, because I know that the groin muscles are not exactly the strongest, I'm gonna kind of step over here and jamming his leg with this other leg, I'm gonna windshield and go shin to shin here. As I go here, I'm gonna wedge this in his hip so that I can lift him up, step over, and keep this out and finish. Does that make sense? So you kind of got to play with this because the key is really locking that shoulder, and with the right elbow, you're kind of controlling his left rib side, and with the left elbow, you're pushing his head down, okay? When I get a side control, which is hard to get, easy to lose, so I don't even waste time, because a lot of the guys are so spastic, you get the side control and they just hip and flop out and they throw a knee in, and now you gotta keep passing. So I just kept on walking north-south. So look, this is cross face, because it's going across the face. This is a reverse cross face. Okay. Both are taking the head offline of the spine. He has to realign his spine with his head, because he can't just tilt his head. So he's got to kind of walk his hips. Yes, right there, yes. But you see that space? You can slide that knee right inside and not in an open guard, okay? So you got to control the head. So remember, when I say cross face, reverse cross face is giving him downward business from the other side. So this is regular cross face, this is reverse cross face, okay? And remember, when you go to north-south, you can't go with a cross face. You got to reverse cross face. Okay, now, going back to the pass, because that reverse cross face is very important. So you're here, maybe you initiate right here. Up that shoulder. Okay, now I feel I'm not around that hip. That right knee has to come here. Yes, now I can even feel his, sorry, you okay? Mm-hmm. I can feel his right arm framing that knee, but I feel my left hip towards his calf, not towards his thigh. If I'm, and I'm arching my back now so that I can pressure him, so that if he lifts, you can also give him a solid eye raiser from here. What's the challenge with you lifting me?
Just the center of gravity is way too far over.
Correct. Because your leg doesn't have power, right? Now watch this. If I just go here, see how much power he gets in the leg? So it's like a mule kick, okay? But you're right about just below that knee, so your pressure's here, and you can get the whole leg, and then it's all this small muscles. So we're here. This may or may not work on Andre either, but I guarantee you, when Andre learns this, it's gonna work on all of you. Okay? Because all Andre does is goes, and he pushes that knee with so much force that my groin here is already tweaked, and I have to turn this way, and he just goes, just plows through, because I can't let him push my left groin anymore out, because it's not doing too well. So, as we're here, I go for that underhook. I hop up and pressure. This kind of even pushes me over. Get that reverse business. So walk. Yeah. And drive. Yes. Yeah, there we go. But I can feel his legs are open. So now I gotta pressure here. here, and then this, look. I slide this knee forward, Bernie, and I windshield wiper. It's gonna be hard for you to come up, especially if he just does this. I can't get over. You may get stuck in a half guard. But here, I stepped over. Yeah. Right here, and then I jammed it here, and then I turned it. Now, because his arm is in the way, I'd rather just go here instead of fight for a second. But let's talk about that pass. Let's try. 1, 2, 3. Got somebody similar sizes. Especially whoever goes with